Do you know how often I'm asking my customers, who is your customer? Well, clear, our customer is, okay, and then do some framing. Who or what are the attributes of the persons or companies you want to be your customer?
Like a persona, right? Yeah.
Do you know how hard it is for them when they are asked like this to specify it?
Should I tell you what I think one of my suspicions is why that is, why there's such an ingranularity about defining these things and why it's so difficult? Because the knowledge is distributed over the whole organization, and we don't do enough management by walking around. We often don't do cross-training where I used to work for companies where they used to move managers and employees around from departments. You'd spend 2 months in that department so you would learn. I think the other reason is, and part of the reason is that you sometimes, you jump into a company that you don't know. That's one other. But I think one of the driving factors is a number one reason why a lot of companies are successful. A big share of it is, yes, they did good things. Yes, they have capabilities, but at the factor of luck. I think a lot of companies do a lot of great business, although a lot of what they do is pretty crappy.
Yes, I agree. But what I'm telling my customers is, if you're honest enough to recognize what you just said, turn the luck into planning and start, as long as you have money and your market position, to turn luck into planning.
I'm gonna take a little bit of what I said back before because it's too black and white. I don't think if I say that, and let's put it. I'm gonna be more direct here. I think every company does a lot of things that are crappy. The question is the proportion, the balance, the proportion, right? And I think you can get by a long time having a 60-40 split. But how long? I think the real proposition of what we're talking about here is upping your game and really professionalizing your balanced scorecard, creating a transparency and integrated strategic approach to it, and including and using staff positions like PMOs and doing the process of portfolio management where you integrate financial, product, and project portfolio. It's a lot of work, but it's a small step cost in the sense of going from a 60-40 balance to a 70-30 or an 80-20. And I think this is what the market has always told us. And I think the reason why companies like Tesla and stuff are taking the lead is because for years companies have been telling themselves why it doesn't work.
Exactly.
Until somebody comes along and says, well, let me show you how it does work.
See, when you're saying, what about, let's say, the crappy things in the company? As you know, I'm a large fan of Pareto principle. And what I really learned in my time is 80% of the effects or the benefits you gain with 20% of the efforts. The last or remaining 20% would cost 80% of efforts to still do it. And this is not the goal. And
it's finding that balance. You don't have to have the best hamburger to be the number one salesperson of hamburgers, McDonald's. But you have the overall picture. Okay. I love to use McDonald's as an example. I don't like McDonald's, but I'm impressed by them. They understand something that most of us don't understand. Number one seller of hamburgers. You can name 10 other companies that sell a better hamburger, but none of them can do what McDonald's does, because if you ask people, does McDonald's have quality? Most people would say no. But you and I know they have quality. They just understand quality in a more comprehensive, integrated fashion. It's like a diamond with many facets. They have drive-thrus. They own their properties. They have a payment structure which is fair. They're all over the place. They're a logistic giant that can produce the same mediocre product in 120 different countries around the world.
I think we need to differentiate here on the type of quality, because what you're referring now is the service quality. The service quality is top. The product quality might be something,
but even the product quality is in line with the price. See, this is what most people don't take into. They say, if it's not Kobe beef, it's not the best hamburger. But who wants to pay for Kobe beef? Nobody's talking about that. So this I think if we're going to use, and I think we often use this in project management or in portfolio management, the understanding that leadership means being a conductor of an orchestra often. It helps if you know how to play an instrument. It's amazing if you can play more than one instrument, but nobody cares because that's not your job. Your job is not to play the violin. Your job is to understand when the violin should play, how they should play, guide people, make sure they play in harmony, and then they're not beating each other up. And this is what we're kind of also not just activating, talking about on a portfolio or a program level, but this is also something that senior managers and executives. Let's kind of see if we can create. We've gone a little bit into the balanced scorecard. We've talked a little bit about strategy. We've spent a long time talking harshly or judgmentally about executives, but we love you. We're on your side. We understand that you have one of the most difficult jobs out there. Quietly, honestly, I can completely understand when a senior manager said, "Do I want to be promoted to an executive?" Hell no. It's a difficult position. There's too few of you for the job that you have to do. But if we were to kind of make it interesting, in German we say schmackhaft machen, right? Mm-hmm. To make it. What would be another way to summarize? Why should an executive have a portfolio manager? Why should an executive have an executive PMO that supports him or her?
Why should he have a portfolio manager? Because he needs somebody who helps him selecting the actions to be taken to evolve the company to the targets he or she identified in their vision. This cannot be done in a one-man show, because you need to take the project ideas or the possible project programs to be executed, compare it to what you can achieve in terms of availability of resources, either persons and skills on the one hand side or financial ones on the other hand side, and then to develop a plan how to achieve the vision goals for, let's say, certain years. Yeah, this cannot be done by a one-man show.